EXFL is back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back in 2024. I am F1 Union, your main commentator for tonight. And back in the commentary booth is F1 Nico22. Nick, how are you on this very fine opening to the year?
I am very, very excited for Tier 2. Again, an absolute pleasure to be back in the booth with you. And yeah, I cannot wait for what Tier 2 can spice up this season. A lot of quick drivers, and we're going to be seeing a lot of improvements across the season. This is going to be a good one.
So many driver swaps. This is Tier 2. This is Season 8. 4 years running now of the second tier of the European Xbox Formula League. We're going to take you through all the drivers. We've got 15 drivers today, quite a few missing out, but they'll be back, I'm sure, for Saudi Arabia onwards. But let's kick this season off underway. We've got a Merc and Ferrari heading out onto the track now. Let's get the track map. So there we go. Right, first car on the track is Josh Hewitt. He has moved from Aston Martin to AlphaTauri on the medium compound tyres, and his teammate, quite a memorable lineup in the past 8 seasons here, is the birthday boy Seb. He has also moved to AlphaTauri. Happy birthday, Seb. In his AlphaTauri, and Sin Icon moving to Mercedes. He has a qualifying ban that he did not serve, so he's going to be serving it here. His teammate, his friend, BMRL Optic, heading out onto the track now. Let's see what he can do. Vortex has been promoted. Alfa Romeo for him. Frosty Life stays where he is at Aston Martin. Cal as the same in McLaren. Warren has moved to Alpine, drifting at Williams. AFC Callum staying where he is at Ferrari. The other Callum, a promising driver that's coming up through the ranks, to Haas from Red Bull. Nathan up to Ferrari. Chaz Meister's moved to Williams. Eggy, a new driver, a debutant today. Watch out for him. He can definitely probably fight for a top 5, maybe even a podium, reserving for Alfa Romeo. And yes, Sin Icon, don't know why he's on track, but he will be getting disqualified hopefully soon. And Logan moving to McLaren. Right then, across the line then for Josh Hewitt to start the first lap of the season. Nick, do you want to take the honours away and head us into turn 1?
Absolutely. I love this opportunity to do the quali laps, the first one of the session, as we see Sin Icon retire in the session. Now Josh Hewitt on the second DRS straight, heading all the way up to turn 4, braking at the 100-meter board on the left-hand side, making sure not to use too much of the curb on the left-hand side. This game, you do bottom out, and that is your lap ruined. A little bit careful through turn 4 at the moment, and 5 and 6. Just get a banker on the board as he heads through turn 8, using all the track perfectly there. Trying to get good traction up towards turn 9 and 10. Very tricky if you don't have ABS, but I'm sure some of the drivers will be utilising that assist. And that is beautiful through turn there. And as he uses the third DRS straight, heading up towards turn 11, braking just before the 50-meter board, using a little bit of the curb nicely as we head through 11 still, then 12, now 13. Braking just at the marshal post on the right-hand side, using all of the track. As he doesn't, there's a little bit time on the board there, but I'm sure he will find that later on in the session. Braking between the 100 and the 50. Brake nice and late, maybe 60, 70 meters, using all the track on the exit. And now as he makes the run to the line, opening the DRS, and it's a 30.1. On the mediums though, I'm sure there's going to be a lot quicker times coming throughout the session.
There have been a lot of question marks throughout the off-season. 3 weeks off for the drivers, and this 18-minute qualifying session for the 15 drivers we have is going to be a huge help in seeing how this shapes the season. It's the longest EXFL season ever, 23 races, and at the moment, with only just their first laps in the first race, in the first qualifying session, we have Cal leading the way by 2/10 head of drifting, and like when Nick pointed out, mediums for Josh Hewitt and Frosty Life as well. Those two always put the mediums on last season. They're continuing it this season. Vortex, that's a bit of a surprise, 3/10 ahead of Cal. So it seems like he could show some pace. Remember, he's only done one race, the final race of last season at Abu Dhabi, where he finished 10th. So there was not much to go off there. Optic 1.2 seconds down. Warren in the pit lane. Callum 28.9 for his first sector. And what about Seb on the Inter? So he's just getting a bit of a banker lap out of the way. Logan in the pits as well. And Eggy going P3 at the moment. So remember, last season, Mercedes qualified 1st and 3rd. They ended up winning the race. before a few changes with the lineup. That led Alfa Romeo for nearly the first half of the season to really be the star team, leading out before McLaren then took over. At the moment, it's happening again, and both drivers in the Italian team are reserves, which is interesting. So Cal splits them at the moment. Now he'll be waiting for his teammate to get out as well, as Callum now goes second in the Haas, getting his first podium in the final race of last season, as has Josh Hewitt getting his only podium. Coming at the final race, came later than never, as he currently sits P6. It's a lot closer at the moment, as it's only 600ths between them. But who do you think, Nick, is the favourite at this very moment?
Well, it is very hard to tell. A lot of newcomers, but obviously, how can I forget Logovic 09 in the McLaren? He was up there. I mean, that's all you have to say. He was up there last
Very
season,
true.
and he got a couple wins. And I think, you know, with the other two got promoted, and he was probably best of the rest. And I think for sure he'll be up there. And I hope to see his glory days this season, and maybe he'll get pole position and potentially a win today.
It's, I believe, his fourth Tier 2 season now, or his third. No, it's definitely his fourth. Yeah, he's slowly entering that top 10 list of most experienced, as is AlphaTauri, a very strong lineup of two of the top 5 most experienced drivers in Tier 2 history. And yeah, if we remove all the people who got promoted to Tier 1 last season, Logan does finish the highest, then followed by Seb. So we're still waiting for those two to put a time on the board. Then Nathan, Warren and Chaz, who's the slowest at the moment, they're going to be hoping to make their way further up the field this season. So Warren heading into turn 1 in the Alpine, then heavy braking as the curb starts to emerge on your left, making sure not to hit the inside curb as he takes it a bit wide. It's such a tricky little section, the first 2 corners of the lap. DRS wide open as you easily take turn 3, and then it's all about setting up into turn 4. You want to make sure to avoid the inside curb as he takes it swiftly. He does use a bit of curb, but keeps it within the confines of the racetrack. 28.9 is what we've been seeing. He's done a 29.0 for the first sector split through 6 and 7. It's a bit more tighter than previous games, I believe. It's harder for the drivers to really maintain a lot of flow through that section. Now heading through 9, and then the dreaded turn 10 for so many that can mess up your entire lap. But at the moment, Warren, just a little twitch there, is keeping the track, his car within the track as he opens the DRS once again. Heading into turn 11, can catch you very easily if you're not focused, but at the moment he's got the power down nicely. Through 12 and 13, the complex all flat out, and then the last set to just essentially 2 corners here. 1 minute 8.0, taking a lot of curb there on entry and a bit of the exit too, and now you just size up, thinking about that final corner. Slow in, fast out. You want to take the curb on the left, you want to take a little bit of the curb on the inside, and then straighten out. Foot flat to the floor as the final DRS zone opens there, and he comes across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 30.1 to go. P6. Not a bad lap for Warren, and look how close it is between 5th all the way down to 8th. What about Seb then? He's currently on his lap, I believe, heading through turn 11. The Aston gets out the way of Frosty. So here comes Seb. He's done pretty well around Bahrain. I believe 2 podiums to his name in all the seasons he has done in EXFL Tier 2, and I'm sure when we get a few rounds in, you're looking at the most experienced Tier 2 driver in history, and probably the first who will reach 100 races entered. But in AlphaTauri for the final corner on his first run, let's see what he can do. His teammate Josh Hewitt has put in a time good enough for P7. It's a 29.5 to beat. Seb crosses the line. It's a 29.2 to take provisional pole as we've just passed the halfway mark in the session, and Seb, the birthday boy, is on top at the moment. Let's see what everyone else can do to challenge. Josh Hewitt, his teammate, heading through the final corner, 6/10 up. So here we go. This looks good enough for the front row. Can it be enough to challenge his brand new teammate and friend? It's going to be second for now. AlphaTauri front row lockout as Josh gives a little weave, should I say, to celebrate the fact that their team is at the front and Chaz Meister's left.
I shall be able to get you. Alright.
Right, Eggy has just exited turn 3. Logan on his outlap. He always does seem to leave it a bit late in qualifying. And we'll see what Eggy can do. 29.0 is what we've been seeing. He does a 28.9 just about, but has found 3/10. So don't count him out either, as he's got a Ferrari just in his way a little bit there. Moving out essentially. Cal has just exited turn 3 as well. So carry on board with Eggy. Heading down into the turn 10 complex. Braking a little bit wide, but he gets the momentum to go in a straighter line with DRS on. Now through turn 11 for the Alfa Romeo. Not sure if Eggy can get some really solid performances. He could definitely find himself with a seat as Frosty Life goes third. That's good for him. It's the most experienced drivers at the moment leading the forefront at the field. But let's see the newest EXFL Tier 2 driver, see if he can get within that. Qualifying last season, as much as it was really exciting for so much of it, we knew for the latter part who would take pole most of the time. This time it's a complete unknown, as crossing the line is Eggy to go P5. 4 thousandths off his teammate, and you can just see how much closer the grid is, which is amazing to see. And Callum H is 4/10 up and only 3/10 off provisional pole. So Callum, you never know, he's never been on pole before, and he wants to start the season off right after getting his first podium last season. He crosses the line, he goes on to provisional pole by 66 thousandths, and Callum now showing that Haas has something to use. His new teammate Oren, not racing unfortunately tonight, will be very proud of that. Good friends these two, wanting to be teammates when the teams got decided, and now he's really given AlphaTauri something to think about. Drifting has just crossed the line, I think. Optic 2/10 up. And what about Logan then? 107.0 as he heads through the final corner then. This is what we've been waiting to see. Logan through the final corner. He's had 3 weeks in the off season. Let's see what he can do in the McLaren across the line. It's a 29.0 and Logan goes on to provisional pole by just under 2/10. That is what we've been waiting for, as Logovic 09 in the McLaren now puts his British team on pole position for now. But who can challenge? Half a second cover the top 7. This is what you want to see. And what about Optic then? As he does cross the line, he improves by nearly 3/10, but still stays 12th. As the only time on the board we are yet to see is from Nathan. 29.2, so he's about 3/10 down in the first. He's about to finish the second sector split. He's about 1.6 seconds down, at least from Logan in the middle. So this will put him 1.8 overall, which will put him 13th if he can get ahead of Chasmeister's time. Can he find any more to get into 12th or better? As he comes around the final corner, we know how much the first qualifying of the season can shape the whole season, and this is certainly giving a lot of excitement with just under 5 minutes to go. And I'm sure Logan will have saved a set of softs running what I believe is the similar to last season, is Ayrton Senna helmet, which is a great look in the McLaren of number 97. Drifting crossing the line now, 13 seconds down. I believe he's now starting a lap. Optic 1.7 down, and Nathan will head back into the pits. Have you seen Chasmeister join at all yet, Nick?
I have not. I shall. Yeah, if I can send him an invite.
Are you able to invite him?
Potentially. I don't have him added, but.
No worries. I'll send him another one in a sec.
Yeah, I can.
As they're all just waiting in the pits for their final run. Right, under 4 minutes then. Top 5 in the pits. Vortex heading out now. And he's on his lap. He's found a 10th in the first sector. So this is promising from the driver in only his second race. Reserving now is Scott as he heads through turn 9 and 10. If he can get it onto maybe the front of the third row, I'm sure that would be great for him into the top 5. But a third row in general will be great for him. Not much action out on the track at the moment, but it's going to get very busy in the next minute or two. So Vortex taking the time now to optimize it. Finding a 10th would, just over a 10th, would put him on the second row. As he's down by half a 10th, he's lost some time there in the middle sector. And unless he can get a good final corner, he's not going to improve. He only needs to find a few hundredths to improve to 5th. But I think he's slowed down here. And he might have enough fuel or enough time to get back in and go again. As Chasmeister's joined. There we go. Right. As he crosses the line, so maybe he's just going for another outlap. But are you ready, Nick, for the first final showdown in EXFL Tier 2 Season 8 in qualifying?
I am indeed. It's going to be a hectic one. We know how Tier 2 can be sometimes with all the drivers out on track, obviously, apart from Sin Icon. But, yeah, it is going to be a battle for pole. Honestly, I can't even count the possibilities on one hand. I think maybe 6 or 7 people are going for pole at this rate. And it's going to be an interesting one. We'll see, obviously, who comes out on top with the fastest lap time. But at the moment, I got my money on Logan.
It's Logan's 49th race. He's never had a pole position. Sin Icon would have been a critical factor in taking pole. We know how quick he can be over one lap. It's the course of the race that he sees if he can get a win, like we saw in USA. But we're seeing his teammate now, Cal, about to start his final lap. Logan on the verge of starting this season off brilliantly with just under a 2/10 advantage. Let's see what everyone else can do as his teammate Cal starts the lap. Nick, if you mind, take us through it. If you don't mind, should I say.
Now, into turn 1, braking just before the 100-meter board as you can lock the rears. Now, onto the second DRS straight, up into 7th gear, DRS activated, coming into turn 4, braking just next to the 100-meter board, using a lot of the circuit there. Brilliant use of the track. You pay for it, you use it. Through 5, 6, and then 7, heading down into turn 8. Let's see what you can do here. Braking on the barriers on the left-hand side, using all of the curb on the left-hand side. Missing the apex a little bit, but that should help him get great drive onto turn 9 and 10. And the rotation is magnificent. He will be able to get a great run now with the DRS open, up from 5th, 6th, 7th, and maybe even 8th into turn 11 now, braking just before the 50-meter board, up through the left. We hold the corner, making sure not to get on the right-hand side curve there, and then through 12. Can't spin now on this game, so you can utilise some of the curve. It's purple sector 2, he's 7/10 up. Now through turn 13, he has 14 and 15 to navigate now, but it's just 14 that we need to worry about. He's going to be braking just in front of the 50-meter board, using all of the circuit now. Up through 5th, 6th, 7th, DRS active. What's it going to be? It's pole position.
Go on, Cal! By a 10th of a second, Cal has gone on to provisional pole by 1/10 ahead of his teammate. No one saw that coming. And Cal could get potentially his first pole. Logan could get potentially his first pole. Callum's never been on pole. Neither has Seb. Josh has had 4. Frosty's had 10 of them. Who's going to take pole in the season opener at the moment? Out of nowhere, Callum 5 has put his McLaren ahead of his teammate. And Logan isn't up.
Yeah, it's
round the final corner then. For Logan, he needs to find 2/10 in one corner. Can the Maestro do it? Callum can't improve to beat the other Callum. What can Logan do? He can't improve. He just misses out on his teammate. What about the AlphaTauris? Josh can't improve to pole. What about Seb? He's invalidated. Unbelievable. Can you believe it? As Vortex goes 6. Frosty round the final corner. We have a new pole sitter in EXFL Tier 2, but it's not the McLaren you think it is. Round the final corner for Frosty across the line. It's going to be P7 for him. Callum 5, he asked me before the session, where do you think I'm going to slot in? I said I have absolutely no idea, and absolutely no idea he would be taking his first ever pole position. It's a McLaren front row lockout. They won the championship last season, and they have started off this season with a front row lockout, and the biggest surprise is that Callum is ahead of Logan. Look at that top 3 by just over half a 10th. This is EXFL Tier 2, and it has given us quite the start and quite the race setup. Absolutely brilliant. Callum, he's taking it in. He's the only one yet to finish. He's on pole position. for the first round of Tier 2 Season 8. He's taken his first pole before his teammate did. And Logan is going to be gutted with that, or he's going to be absolutely happy for this jubilant moment.
Absolutely electrifying qualifying there.
Can you believe it?
Logan is, there's words of upsetment, but also elation. And the McLaren 1-2 looks magnificent in its ore. 1-2, and Callum following close behind. The two AlphaTauris keeping it strong in 4th and 5th. We know Seb and Josh are nice and quick in the race, so we'll see what they can do. Obviously, the gap doesn't matter. In qualifying at the moment, there's 8 meters between each grid spot, so we'll see who's going to be leading down into turn 1 or even turn 4.
You took us through that pole lap, Nick. That was great. Yeah, so Callum and Logan, the only ones into the 28s. Callum H did a 29.000. And it'll also be interesting to see how well of a comeback job the Sin Icon does from P15. Chaz F1, he went from P17 to P2 last season in the opening race. And he was fighting for the win in the last few laps, so you never know what could happen. Speaking of never knowing what could happen, there could always be a glitch, so I'm just getting a photo of the grid just in case of a restart. Yeah, I know Sin Icon's 15th. I don't need to take a photo of that. Right. Well, then we've got quite the race in store for us. Keep it clean, lads. Wow, if that's an indication of the season to come, wow.
Yeah. Just looking at the race director, though. Logan losing a little bit of time in Sector 1, and potentially that got in his head. He loses another 10th in Sector 2. But that final sector was magnificent. He gets 2 tenths back on his teammate.
I couldn't believe it. I generally thought he was going to stay third, and then he just went up to by just under 400s to miss out. Mental. But that lap from Cal, I was kind of paying attention, kind of looking where everyone else was. But when you said in the middle sector he's 7 tenths up, I generally put my hands on my head thinking, what? No way. Oh my god. Right then. There's obviously hype. I don't want to hype it up and then we have to restart, otherwise that would be stupid. So fingers crossed. This is it. We waited 3 weeks here, and we'll get into strategy, setup, fuel. That's what they're going to be sorting. For now, what we're going to be paying our eyes and attention to is the start of Tier 2 Season 8 in 2024. 3, 4, 5. The lights go out. The revs rise. And it is lights out, and away we go with the two McLarens in formation. Callum ahead of Logan. Callum trying to challenge Logan as we head into turn 1 as the Haas round the outside tries to make the move. Logan's dropping down the order, wheel to wheel between Josh and Callum, but it's Callum 5 leading comfortably into turn 2. It's Josh, then Callum. Logan drops down to 4th, challenging 5th as Vortex and Eggy, the two Alfa Romeos, slowing down as Frosty makes it 3 wide. Into turn 4 for the first time, then down the inside goes the massive starting of AFC Callum into P4 already. What a start from him. A spinning round is Logan in the first race of the season. Logan has dropped from 2nd all the way down to last, while his teammate is leading out in front. It's a McLaren sandwich for the whole field. What a start from Josh. What a start from Callum. 3 Callums in the top 4. This is going to get confusing for Tier 2 Season 8 as Seb is going to try and move. Round the outside goes the birthday boy. Callum defends it as Seb tries to switch. Going wide there is Vortex as Frosty Life is trying to challenge a move here. As looking further back, we got a yellow of drifting as Logan. That's 1 move for him as Sin Icon has made up 2 from the 2 spinners. So Callum leads them then under pressure from Josh as Seb does get ahead of Callum as they're going to go wheel to wheel, and there's slight contact. Callum just about saves it and dives it back down the inside of Seb over the curb, and Vortex goes around the outside to get back ahead. As here we go then, fighting for the lead before we've even finished lap 1. Josh Hewitt versus Cal, wheel to wheel. Across the line they're about to come as Josh Hewitt then, who's going to lead the first lap of the season. It's going to be Josh Hewitt from 4th all the way up to 1st, but here comes Callum back for round 2 as we head into turn 1 for the 2nd lap of the season and the 2nd lap of the race, and it's Cal taking back the lead as Eggy fighting Frosty Life and Callum fighting Vortex. Good battling then, wheel to wheel. Slight contact as that's allowing Seb to get ahead. And Vortex just keeping behind Callum for now. As Cal leads ahead of Josh. And Callum watching this all unfold. And at the moment they're going to say how they are. Wheel to wheel then in the back. Optic versus Nathan. Optic round the outside of Nathan. Nathan, a little bit of a slide, and Optic gets the move ahead into P10 as Sin Icon watches this unfold. And it's all down to Logan then to see what he can do. You take over, Nick. Let me just do something.
Yeah, I shall. So Logan there on the hard tyres, we saw him spinning, and he was a little bit optimistic with the move on Sin Icon after Sin Icon also had a little bit of contact. But yeah, not the start Logan would have wanted after such a high from qualifying there. McLaren 1-2, but he's down in 13th with the two Williamses behind him. Only him and Drifting on the hard tyre, everybody else on the medium. But at the moment, it's going to be a race of who can save their battery. Having a look at Warren already on 35%. AFC Callum on 44.
Biggest gainer at the moment, Warren, from 12th up to 7th. And we'll put it to tyres then. Everyone on the mediums apart from Logan and Drifting, as here comes Josh Hewitt then, battling once again for the lead as we start the third lap. As they're wheel to wheel, Josh will try to switch back. Callum watching this unfold. DRS activated on this lap, 52 versus 56. They're pretty even. As here comes Josh using a bit of his battery. Callum goes defensive to the inside, and Josh will have to stay behind for now. He's going to be patient. 2 years ago, he was fighting for the World Championship. In those 2 years, he has come back from such a painful defeat, and he's slowly made his way back up the order. We love a good comeback, and at the moment, Josh Hewitt is the full front page title of that for Tier 2 Season 8, but he's got the likes of Cal and the other Cal, and maybe even the other Cal to fight with, as it's really going to get confusing this season between them. But the top three fighting it out. Seb trying to join the fight. Callum at the moment is staying strong. It's a great start from him. Where did he start? 9th, and yeah, that must have gone under the radar. He's really good at starts, and he's started off this season brilliantly. Vortex in 6th then. Warren holding down the fort in 7th, which is great. He's got to come under pressure from Eggy, who's got really good race pace. Frosty was running a few positions higher, but has dropped down a bit. Optic still 1.7 seconds ahead of Sin, who's got past Nathan. And Logan at this rate is going to have to play the long game. He's going to be on the mediums later on as Josh Hewitt takes back the lead with DRS. So he got past Cal and got the DRS from it. So Cal's having to blast his DRS to try and have a challenge at Josh. Callum watching this unfold. Can he try a double overtake? Cal takes the lead. Back ahead of Josh. Does position changes. Vortex ahead of Callum. Eggy ahead of Warren. And they're all at the moment keeping clean, which is great to see. Warren tries a switchback as we're looking further to the front. Can Cal hold on to the lead? They've battled every single lap of the Grand Prix at the moment. Here comes Josh Hewitt. Can he try around the outside? There's a yellow for BMO Optic as wheel to wheel for the lead of the race. Josh just gets squeezed out, and we have a safety car because of it.
Are you able to send Chazmeister an invite?
Yeah, I didn't even realise he left.
Yeah, me either, but yeah.
That man really needs to sort his connection. Wait, what's going on? I can't exit for some reason.
What's that?
I'm stuck on the race director for some reason.
Is your wheel plugged in? Try that maybe.
I think I'm going to have to leave the session and join back. But I can't even leave. Oh, great.
If you plug your wheel in, you might be able to use that. Because at the start of the race, none of my MFD came up, and I had to use my pedals to get him to come up. But anyway, oh, I've got the same thing as well. Deary me. Jaden, we might have to both leave.
Is this thing on? There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've got the
Okay,
same
yeah.
thing, Jaden.
Oh, great. Okay, so let me leave. You stay where it
Yeah.
is. Great.
Is anyone in?
Can you invite me now?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good time to happen, at least during a safety car. So I'm guessing Optic went off, lost his front wing, the impact caused a safety car or something. So it'll be interesting who pits. They're all on the mediums.
Yeah.
It's lap 5 or something.
So we've got Drifting onto the mediums, Optic onto the hards, Logan onto the mediums. Not quite sure where that's going. He did save a set of softs though, so potentially he's going for late softs at the end. We've got Frosty Life on the hards as well. Apart from that, everybody has stayed out.
What on earth is going on? I'm just looking at the background of lobbies for some reason. Oh, for God's sake.
You'd think by now. How many months are we into
Yeah.
the game? 6 months? Something like that?
7.
7 months. You'd get your act together.
Alright, hang on. Let me actually load into the main menu and then invite me.
Alright.
And then I'll try and invite Chazmeister, because, yeah, this is... Oh, yeah, and just word of advice, don't check the race director, like, at all, this race. It's just a glitch that can happen at the start. Spectators go on race director, says the race is finished for them, and everyone's still racing. Right, invite me now, please.
Did you get
Thank you very much. Yeah, I got it. And hopefully there's actually a thingy appearing this time, please. Please appear. Yes! Yay! Alright, as soon as I'm in, you leave and I'll invite you. Alright, cool. I'm guessing my order is still included. I tried everything. I kept turning my stuff off and on again. Right, there we go. Right, yeah, you can leave now. Yeah, we don't need you here. Go away. Get out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Let me know when you've left. Or just need an invite in general. Right then. We're back. Okay, right, so Frosty Life has decided to make a pit stop. Logan, from the hards, put the mediums on. Interesting. So he'll be going medium. That is actually something that could work pretty well for him, actually. Optic has put the hards on, and Drifting put the mediums on. I think like Nick went over. So the rest have stayed out, and when the safety car was deployed, Cal was in the lead. So it's been a great battle between these two. Cal is probably one of the nicest people in the league, so it's such a great moment to see him start off the season well. But that's half the battle. You have to finish the race to get that full glory and feeling. And this will help Seb at least catch the top 3 a little bit. Callum's being patient. Yeah, and I thought we had enough Joshes fighting for championships. The fact we have 3 Callums in the top 6 is... One of them needs to change their name and get some originality. Right, do you need an invite yet, Nick?
Yes, you can send one over to my
safety car is in this lap. Right then, Cal will lead them away. Lap 6 of 29. Let's look at... Yep. Okay, so Frosty and Optic on the hards, everyone else on mediums. We'll keep it on pens. No one has got one yet, but yeah, interesting. Right then, here we go then. The first safety car of the season, and we missed all of it. Anyway, round the final corner for Cal to restart the race on lap 7. He's gone now, and the AlphaTauri of Josh Hewitt will be right behind him. Then Cal, then Seb, then Vortex pulling out, then Callum, then Eggy, then Warren, then Sin Icon up to 9th. He's putting Warren under pressure. We look into turn 1. Down the inside goes Vortex, trying to make a move as Callum versus the 2 Alfa Romeos happening there. He goes right over the curb and gets the first penalty of the season. The Sin Icon does get ahead of Warren, so he's really under pressure from battling these guys. His lines are all messed up when he's not on his own. But at the moment, the top 2 are streaking clear of Callum. He's already a second behind. So Cal leads them away, getting a little on the curb here. Here comes Josh Hewitt to try a switch back into turn 7. Will he brake later? Will he try the Alonso move? He gets the better exit now. And we see Warren and Sin Icon battling again, but Cal gets the better ground as Warren really getting his elbows out. He's back ahead of Sin Icon. Is the Alpine. Will Sin Icon try any sort of move down the inside? No, he waits for now. Nathan going wide as down the inside goes Logan, as Nathan has to go off the track and avoid. We've got a yellow at the back. It's Sin Icon. So in a moment with him, as Logan is now up to 10th, fighting with Frosty Life as he's going around the outside, drifting has left. Getting back in a minute. Here comes Logan around the outside, and what a move from Logan. Sorry, wasn't it?
I'll be able to get him back.
Okay, you can get drifting back in. Logan up to 9th then. He's really on it. As yeah, that was quite the send into 10, but Nathan went wide anyway, so that'll be interesting to see what happens. So here comes Josh Hewitt then, right on the back of Callum, because he's trying to stick behind. That has allowed the other Callum to come back into play. It's going to be a massive DRS train for the top 7. We start lap 8. Here comes Josh Hewitt then. Seems like it's going to be a race-long battle. Tier 2 at Bahrain is a great mix for a great battle, and at the moment, luckily, it's for the lead. As round the outside goes Josh. Great camera angle, seeing sparks fly here. Now Josh is going to be on a tighter line, as here comes Callum watching them. 55, 79, 68. They're using a bit of their battery, but DRS isn't activated until the next lap. We see the 2 Alfa Romeos battling for 6th and 7th in the background. And yeah, Warren held off Sin Icon, but at the moment he's the one who's still in 8th, and Sin Icon is ahead of Chazmeister, who's getting back in his car. As he's dropping down the order, is drifting. The 2 Williams then disconnecting, not having good internet, and now it finds them in the last 2 spots, and then the 2 Mercedes fighting with Nathan, as I think one of them's just got back in. Yeah, drifting. So hopefully, oh yeah, Chazmeister. He's not even there.
There is a revelation. Nathan.
What's the revelation?
Well,
Nathan.
He's using his battery now, but he wasn't.
Oh no. Yeah, he was always the one who used his battery.
He's turned it off. He's turned it
down
off.
the inside. He's turned it off. History in the making, and that he's been done because of that by the 2 Mercs.
Turn it back on, mate.
Yeah. Right there, Nathan dropping down, and drifting's going to put him under pressure soon. But yes, Sin Icon and Optic, they're going to swap soon. I'm betting they're communicating. So Callum's got a bit more of a gap to Josh, as the DRS will be activated this lap. And it's a massive DRS train. And into the pits is Warren, interestingly. So yeah, remember, these medium runners yet to pit. This will bring Logan a bit back into play, as he will go medium, while these lot will have to go medium hard. So it's all about the race pace they have, as Sin Icon does get ahead of his teammate.
Blimey. The 2 Mercedes, I accidentally muted myself at my reaction, but Sin Icon going down the inside and then squeezing Optic onto the curb, I thought that was going to be catastrophic, but luckily Optic managed to keep it facing in a straight line, as Nathan makes a bit of a mistake there, and drifting finds himself inside of him.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. He got some damage at the start. He's asking for a restart, like that's going to happen. So Cal, exactly the same gap between Josh and the other Callum, 4/10, as it's just a massive DRS train from 1st all the way down to 9th. This is tier 2, not esports, lads. This is great. But Callum leads them away then. He's going to come under massive pressure when the DRS happens on the start-finish straight, and he could get done by not 1 but 2, as Josh. It's all going to be about their ERS at this rate, and at the moment Cal's saving enough. So this is a great camera angle. Look at this, all the cars coming through. And you just see everyone in the top 9 all coming through. But here we go into the final corner. Josh is going to overtake and once again do the same thing he did to Cal and get the DRS, I believe. He does. So it's smart from Josh Hewitt to get the DRS, as Cal's now going to have to blast his to try and have a move as they switch all over the track. Here we go then. This battle is truly well and truly on as we head into turn 1. Cal has got front row tickets for this. And we know the awards just came out, and one of them is Battle of the Season. This is already pretty much going to be a contender for that, as it's happening all race. But Cal, after blasting his battery, maintains the lead, and they can see all this happening. Sin Icon has got quite the gap to hunt down of 5 seconds to get back into this after spinning at turn 10. See the changes. So yeah, a lot of them actually stayed where they are all race. As Logan is up to 6. He's fighting the 2 Alphas. Put that back to Pens. So riding on board with the McLaren. The Alpha hits him off the track. Does Vortex. And down the inside goes his teammate to gain from that. Logan takes off the track to avoid any sort of contact with Eggy. And yeah, fighting with Vortex led to a bit of contact, and Logan has dropped behind both Alfa Romeos. But once again, he's going to try the move he did round the outside of Frosty. And Frosty on his inside. Oh, it's going to be close between the 3 cars, and Frosty has to back out wisely. And Logan, will he try a send? No, he'll keep behind for now. So yeah, contact with Vortex led him off the road, and then avoiding more contact with Eggy led him off the road again. Looking in to the final corner. This time Josh Hewitt doesn't get the DRS and the overtake done, but now with nearly half the ERS that Cal has, he may take the lead back. And they're all pretty low, especially AFC Callum doing everything he can to stick with this, as Logan gets ahead of Eggy, and Josh Hewitt takes the lead again then ahead of Cal into turn 1. Callum round the outside. This is great respect between the two until it just about gets a little pinchy with barely any meters left between the two, but Callum's coming back at Josh down the inside. Josh trying to stay ahead. Callum evenly on the brakes as Josh round the outside. Cal on the curb. Josh Hewitt takes the lead then ahead of Cal, ahead of the other Callum, and Seb watching this all unfold. Then Callum, then Vortex, then Logan, and then Frosty Life as we see the helicopter cam. 9 cars all separated by just a few seconds. This is absolutely brilliant as Frosty sends it on Logan. He's been hit by quite a few cars today, and he's really getting in the wars here after trying to make a comeback. Going off there is Vortex. A little bit of contact between Eggy and Frosty. It's getting a bit hectic at the back of the train, as this is helping Callum. 4.9 has now gone down to 3.9. All this battling has gained Sin Icon a second. As yeah, they are going to have to pit soon. Do you think the pit stop window's when? Lap 12, 14? Safety car would have helped.
Yeah, definitely upwards of lap 15 potentially. We can see a couple drivers stretching the tyres. But interestingly, obviously to go long, the tyres are going to wear down.
Oh, just going to have to interrupt you there, Nick. Cal makes a mistake, exit the final corner. That's going to allow the other Callum to get the DRS some more momentum, dropping down the oil is Cal because he's in the pit lane. Eggy's left. I'll invite him in a sec as Warren gets a 3-second, and Cal, after leading most of this race, is now coming under pressure for P2. Callum in the Haas into P2 then, and here comes Seb as Cal gets it all wrong on turn 2, and that allows Seb into the podium. Cal has dropped from 2nd down to 4th. As Seb is, Callum's now flashing wheel to wheel between Vortex and Logan. Logan now up to 5th after spinning at this very exit of the corner, is back up into 5th. Right, oh no, Eggy's in. Never mind.
Yeah, I invited him.
Oh yeah, he's Xbox. Yeah, he's Xbox. What am I saying? Nice one. Right then, Logan, after spinning down and dropping down to last, has found up 10 places and now finds himself in the same view as he did on lap 1, staring at the McLaren teammate of his. As yeah, Cal's got some work to do, but I was going to say the key thing here is if one of them can trigger the undercut, they may be able to break out of this train, gain a bunch of time while undercutting the cars ahead, and oh, he's left again. The cars ahead, and potentially streak clear. If you can invite him again, Nick, that'd be great. So yeah, AlphaTauri now swing the pendulum between McLaren and them, with Callum in the Haas splitting them. And yeah, McLaren have dropped down because of this, and AlphaTauri now are the lead team. As yeah, it just seems like Cal's really struggling, as Vortex is wanting them to get move on with this. He's hit the back of Logan a little bit there. That allows Frosty Life to go on the inside, but I think he wants to go into the pit lane. Does Vortex with Frosty on his inside. He couldn't do that, and that could have been monumental, as we see the 2 McLaren swap. Logan ahead of Cal, then Cal has gone from 2nd down to 5th. Logan goes a little deep, and that allows Cal to have the DRS once again on him, as Logan's dropped out of it, so he's going to have to use a bit of his ERS to try and gain back. Sin Icon and BRO Optic are helping one another with the DRS to try and gain on the cars ahead. So the first runner into the pits, at least for the top guys, was Vortex, I think. Warren also pitted. Yeah, so we're approaching halfway stage, and yeah, this is very interesting. But at the moment, Josh Hewitt, it's early doors. It's extremely early doors. And he will know what happened in Tier 2 Season 4. But when you're world champion, you are not allowed to return to Tier 2 again. But maybe that, in 23 weeks' time, can give you the chance, if you don't win it, to go for it again. And it would be some story if he could. but we're only in the beginning. And we got a hell of a long way to go as BMW Optic has spun. Oh, he's going to lose a bit of his front wing there too. And that's his race ruined with the front wing damage. Anyway, who of the front runners pits then? Josh Hewitt, he stays out. So does Callum, so does Seb, so does Logan, so does Cal. Frosty sticking with these lot, but Cal dropping ever more down, now a second out, but just holding on to DRS. As we see Callum, for the first time this race, trying to challenge for the lead as Josh Hewitt stays ahead, but now Callum's going to get better momentum with the ERS he has and the DRS and the slipstream, and Josh trying everything he can, but here comes Callum then, down the inside for Haas F1 team, turn 4, makes it the new leader. Josh trying everything he can. He goes a little wide. They're still going to be wheel to wheel. Heading into turn 6 and 7. Wheel to wheel for the lead of the race. And just about what a move. Josh Hewitt stays in the lead. And Cal just holds off Seb, pushing him, trying to make it an AlphaTauri 1-2. This is absolutely epic racing in EXFL Tier 2 for the Season 8 opener. So close. Millimetres. So much trust you have for some of these drivers as Frosty has got past Cal. And Vortex gets a 3-second. Going to be interesting. 3 seconds may decide this really, but I'm not going to usher you, Nick, to check the race director at all this race just in case of that glitch. I don't care how rare it is for this race. Saudi onwards it's fine, but for this race, no. So Josh Hewitt half a second ahead of Cal, 4/10, now 3/10 ahead of Seb, and then Logan, Frosty and Cal. Cal just has to stick with it. So unfortunate for the McLaren driver who took pole, who was battling for the lead for the first 10 laps, who had the pace, who's unfortunately dropped off with all that. But now, this could be a crucial moment. Who pits? It's going to be Callum and Seb, and the other Cal. They're going to make sure not to speed. That's a crucial moment, and they've all managed to pass that. So out of the 6, half of them are pitted, and potentially on the next lap, the other half will. So into the pits then. They will all put the hard compound tyres on. Remember, Logan is the one who will put on another set of mediums, I believe. And that would be quite the story for the opening race. Logan, who qualified second, who got spun at the corner exit coming up on the opening lap to drop down to last, to come back to finish second. We've seen it happen before. Chaz, P17 to P2 last season. It was a great drive. It won comeback of the season in the awards. And at the moment, they're a bit more spread out. Frosty Life sticking with Logan more than Logan sticking with Josh at the moment. So where do the rest come out? Drifting, after pitting very early, has gotten ahead of Callum and Warren, who are battling, ahead of Vortex. Vortex, like I thought, has cleared Callum, Seb and the other Cal. So he is ahead on 1 or 2 lap older tyres. So yeah, he has managed to undercut them. So Cal, if he can get a move on, could potentially undercut Josh. No fuel lights flashing, so I think that's all fine. But yeah, what a great first half of the race to the first race of the season. Tier 2 hasn't changed a bit. In fact, it's gotten a little better. There's less chaos and it's more racing, which is amazing to see, but I'm sure there'll be some chaotic times ahead. So Vortex has gotten ahead of Warren now as he's dropping down the order, as that allows Callum to maybe have a go at him in a minute. Anyway, they stay out. All 3 of them stay out. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. An Eggy on 15 lap old mediums, same as Josh. Oh, of course, what am I thinking? So it's Josh mainly, because Logan and Frosty pitted. Interesting, so Frosty can also go on to the mediums. If Frosty pitted on lap 5 when the safety car came out, as Warren and Vortex are battling again into turn 1. I don't want to jinx it, but there's yet to be an actual collision, crash, major one. Here comes Vortex then. Warren with no ERS barely. Trying to go around the outside, a little bit of contact. And on the inside is Vortex and Callum to get ahead of Warren. All 3 of them get ahead of Warren as Seb just about slots his AlphaTauri ahead of the Alpine, who's nearly lost it. As Cal watches this happen. And it's interesting how Frosty, Nick, Frosty surely can't take those hards to the end, right?
Let's have a look how old they are.
11 laps. There would be 24 laps by the end.
It's definitely possible to go 20 laps. But
yeah. Josh has got to pit at the end of this
did
one,
he pit
surely.
before the
Same with
safety
Eggy.
car?
No, he pitted when the safety car came out. Same with Logan. Logan can go a few more laps if he really wants to.
Yeah.
So Josh is staying out again.
It's going to be close.
We've seen drivers fight last season. There was a certain driver who fought for the win last season, and it was because of their strategy that took them out of contention by staying out longer. And it really messed them up and dropped them further down the field to never fight for the win later on in that race. And what is Josh Hewitt really trying to do here? Is he trying to have fresher tyres by the end? As Callum, remember he pitted early, he's jumped all of these lot because of it. And now we're going to see quite the fight here. As down the inside is Vortex, really getting his aggressive elbows out. He's back ahead of Seb, but he's flashing, so this allows Seb to maybe come back and try a move down the inside on the Alfa Romeo, and it seems like he's going to get that job done. The Alfa Romeo breaks later though to go around the outside, but goes deep due to braking later, and that allows Seb into P7. And Callum is going to come under massive pressure from the other Callum, as Logan is coming back at Josh, but Frosty is trying to move on Logan. 79%, he's really looking after his ERS. Logan not too bad, and Josh just trying to hold on at the moment. What's the gap? Leader Josh to Callum, 18 seconds. The pit lane, I have no idea, but it's definitely over 20, so they'll come out potentially even behind Cal, maybe even behind Warren at this stage. As we have a yellow, are they waiting for a certain safety car? Because that is it! Because drifting has caused one, and that has just changed the whole face of the race, because it allows Josh, Logan, Frosty and Eggy to pit. Drifting has caused a safety car. Optic caused the first one, Drifting caused the second. We still have everyone left in this race.
Now, this is going to shape up the strategy. Logan going for the mediums.
Oh, mediums?
Yeah, the mediums.
And Frosty will too.
Everybody.
Oh, Josh goes soft! I was going to say,
wow.
Logan saved a set of softs in qualifying, and so did a few others, but I did not see that coming for Josh. Here we go then, Callum will take the lead because the other Callum has gone into the pits again. On 3-lap-old hards, Callum can easily make it to the end. Josh Hewitt has gone for a gamble that no one else has.
I think his thought process is, because Logan started on the hards, obviously he could only go for the mediums. That is Josh's counter to the mediums. If he thinks he can take those softs, to be fair, only 11 laps, and we're going to have 2 more under safety car probably, so 9 laps.
Yeah, so it'll be around 9. Yeah. So Vortex managed to just jump Logan, who is still ahead of Cal. Frosty's dropped behind. Sin Icon's back into this, ahead of Eggy, who's lost ground. Callum pits again for 9th. Seb has lost so much ground because he also pitted. So Seb, who was running up in 4th, is down to 10th. Is Chasmeister still not here? Great. Right, so Seb has lost the most out of that top 10, 9 scrap. Callum's lost a few. Obviously, these two pitted. Same with Eggy. Sin Icon up to 7th, but on 4-lap-old hards. The oldest is Vortex with 5 laps. Logan, he's on new mediums. Same with Frosty. And Josh Hewitt, is his plan to just get Callum, hope these 2 hard runners hold the rest up, get a good enough lead, and then when his tyres die, he's got a big enough gap for them not to close. Josh Hewitt does like taking a different alternative strategy sometimes. But we just hope and pray. Oh, Optic did the same thing, actually. But we hope and pray it doesn't lead to any unfortunate incidents. It's been amazing so far, what we've witnessed. And this is a variety, a very big field spread of medium, hards and softs. We still have every single driver left in this Grand Prix. Drifting causing a safety car. BMW Optic causing the first one. Yeah, this time for the second safety car of the race and the season, we're here to take you through it. So, Vortex has a 3-second, that's also important. AFC Callum also has one, Warren and Nathan. Eggy and Callum are where they started. So Callum leads the race. I might genuinely give one of these 3 money to change their gamer tag. It's going to get so confusing at times in the season. Especially when mainly these 2 are going to be up. at the front. So Callum, he's been pretty quiet, but also obviously up there in the mix. He's not done anything wrong, and he's just letting his driving do the talking. At the moment, he finds himself in the lead. Josh Hewitt has been right at the forefront, right in the stardom and spotlight, and he's still taking highlights from this race after putting on the soft compound tyres. And I'm sure he'll fight Callum at the restart. Vortex, it's been a massive improvement to his debut, really fighting into the top 5 with some aggressive moves, but fair. There's not been really, the only things that have been really questionable are turn 10 with the Alfa Romeos and Logan potentially. But yeah, we got 2 Alpha Tauris, 2 Alfa Romeos, 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes, kind of up there. Unfortunately, both Alfa Romeos, the actual drivers, are, I believe, Carbro and James, and neither of them are racing, and neither of them I don't think are quicker than these two. So this may be Alfa Romeo's best race of the season. Anyway, we're going to have 10 laps then left of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Right then, round the final corner for Callum. Number 67 is going to get up to speed soon. The safety car reels in. Josh Hewitt trying to get a good restart. It's a pretty good one. And now he's going to be in the slip to try and challenge. Here comes Logan to try and challenge Vortex. Josh Hewitt in the slip. Pulls to the inside now on the Haas. He's going to brake later. A Sin Icon gets ahead of Frosty. Into turn 1 then. Down the inside goes Josh Hewitt on Callum. But Callum manages to find the momentum to keep it wheel to wheel. But Josh on the softs gets the traction to take the lead. Vortex, then the 2 McLarens. Here comes Callum back ahead. But Josh, like we all predicted, gets into the lead. Then the 2 McLarens. Sin Icon fighting Eggy. Wheel to wheel is Frosty and Callum. It's happening all around battles, but amazingly they're all in single file now, and amazingly they've all made it through. Heading into turn 8 then, does anyone try a set down the inside? Moving late under braking goes Frosty, and Callum, I don't really think that was his fault, tried to send as well, but they've all managed to keep facing forward. Now into turn 10, does anything happen? Seems like Logan and Vortex are having it out. Exit 10, Vortex on the power, gets back ahead of Logan, and Frosty ahead of Callum who goes off. Seb trying to challenge ahead. They're wheel to wheel, inches apart, but it seems like Seb on the inside may just have this, depending who breaks later. It's Callum round the outside, but he goes deep because of it, and they're going to continue to go wheel to wheel up through turn 12 and 13. Round the outside goes the Alpha Tauri versus the Ferrari, who gets it all wrong. And now down the inside goes the Alpine of Warren, getting his elbows out. He wants those points, but he goes off due to it. And now we're seeing Eggy ahead of Cow on the hard compound tyres, blasting his ERS. It seems like the top 2 are blasting away as Callum is just trying to keep with Josh. But Vortex battling the 2 Alfa Romeos versus the McLarens. It's a repeat of last season, and it couldn't be any closer. But we're seeing Logan now pull out in the slipstream to try and have a go at Vortex, who's blasting his ERS to keep hold of P3. And round the outside goes Callum. McLaren versus Alfa Romeo. Little bit of a slide there for the front leader. And now we see the Alfa Romeo trying to challenge Logan. Here comes Logan, and down the inside of Vortex. Action everywhere you look. Battles everywhere you look. Brilliance everywhere you look. Down the inside goes Logan, trying to force Vortex off a little bit. He loses the rear, and down the, gaining a position is Sin. I thought Cal lost it. But he's only lost 1 place, unfortunately, as it's so close. Vortex gets on the curb. Sin Icon from P15 trying to last a question mark challenge. At the moment, he's in his highest position so far, P6. Absolute pandemonium here with battles. Into turn 10, down the inside, out of nowhere, Callum. And that was about time that something mad happened. And it's no surprise who it came from, as we're going to see a 4-car battle here. And Warren, there's 1, there's 2, might even be 3 if he's later on the brakes. And Callum, where is he going?
A dream start.
Oh, he's just complete.
And
yeah, that's the race over for him.
And now they're P10 and 8. Wow, I mean, Warren, somehow, after the mistakes, and he's gone off like 2 or 3 times, he's still P9.
Yeah, starts positive, some pace positive. His penalties and his wheel-to-wheel action seriously need work, and heading into a new season, it's still carrying on. We'll see over the course of the season if he can improve on that. But at the moment, yeah, Logan on the mediums is up into third after being spun. It's been a brilliant comeback drive for him so far. As it's Frosty versus Warren into turn 3. The Alpine versus the Aston Martin. We may see some of this in Tier 1, but Warren is getting his elbows out as Callum becomes the first retirement of the race and the season. Warren down the inside. Frosty's going to try the switch, but Warren positions his car perfectly to take P8 as Frosty loses the rear a little bit. That's going to allow Cal to the inside. Does Frosty shut the door? Just about enough. A spinning round is Seb, the birthday boy. Unfortunately, something's happened to him as down the inside goes Frosty to fight Warren once again. Great battle between these two as Cal finds himself losing ever more time because of this battle, but Seb unfortunately has also dropped down due to it. Drifting and Nathan battling. Chasmeister still not in this race, so he'll get disqualified. But unfortunately something's happened to Seb. I don't know if anyone spun him, but he's outside the points. He may still get a few with the 3 seconds of Warren and Vortex. It's a shame Warren has that 3 sec. He's driving a really good race so far, but Cal managed to get ahead, and now he's going to try and get ahead of Frosty Life, who's on the mediums. So it seems like it's the top 6 then who have breached a bit clear. Sin versus Vortex, Eggy versus Logan versus Callum. As Josh, we were right. He's trying to get that gap. He knows those tyres are going to wear off soon, and he hopes that gap will be enough. Josh Hewitt has not won a race for quite some time. Callum versus Logan versus Eggy for the 2nd place. It could be for the win when they come up to Josh, if that even happens. And we're seeing Sin Icon versus Vortex then. They're both on the hard compound tyres. Sin Icon will have the DRS here and the ERS to blast and the toe to give him the confidence to go down the inside of the Alfa Romeo and take P5 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. He edges him out to make sure there's no chance of a switchback, and Sin Icon from P15 in the Mercedes is up to 5th. It's been a great race for him so far, even after all the struggles of the spins, and he sees those 3 cars ahead that are his new challenge.
The quickest man on paper in qualifying gets overtaken by Warren into turn 4. Warren utilises the DRS and lunges it down the inside. A brilliant move, but like I said before, the highs of qualifying have turned into nearly the lowest of lows if Callum falls out of the points. But Callum and Logan at the front.
Yep, I'm watching it right now. It was a bit of an optimistic send from Logan. It allowed Callum for a switch, all the evermore, allowing Josh Hewitt to extend his gap. It's been 7 tenths more, obviously on those softs compared to hards. This is a bold gamble from Josh, but at the moment it is working. A lot of the time it doesn't, but it's so refreshing and a great feeling when we see it happen when it does. So here we go then. Logan, Callum's pretty much a sitting duck here, and you never know from Eggy if he's close enough, but at the moment he's not, so it seems like Logan will get him into 2nd. He started this race in 2nd. He's back up into 2nd. It's been some comeback for the McLaren driver, who unfortunately his teammate, after getting pole position, has dropped down to P9, and it may even be P10 as Optic down the inside on the softs as well drops him further down. Seb now battling with Callum wheel to wheel, and Seb gets ahead, so Callum is out of the points. It really is painful to watch such a great driver, such a promising driver take his first pole, and now he's battling for the points. But Seb gets a little tag from Optic. Callum had to avoid that, but they stay facing forward for now. I'm just trying to check when Josh Hewitt's last win was. It must have been season 4, but maybe he got 1 or 2 after. As yeah, we'll wait for the straight to come soon.
Eggy
here we go.
Promising with his battery at the moment. Him and Logan pretty similar, and Callum H here, the sitting duck. But can Logan pull away on those fresh medium tyres?
Wow. Tier 2 Season 4 USA, the 4th last race of the season, 2 years ago nearly, was his last race win. And at the moment he is leading a Grand Prix with under 5 laps to go. He has, how many wins does he have? He has 4 wins to his name, and this would be number 5. And at the moment, the gap is actually going down a little bit now. So could this be one race where it's people catching up to the leader and we're going to have a battle on the last lap? If so, that would be awesome. It's 5 different constructors in the top 5. We know Sin Icon has great race pace at times, but that 4.3 second gap is just increasing now, as Vortex is keeping him on his toes. could prohibit Sin Icon to challenge for the front. If he was allowed to do qualifying, he knows and likes this track a lot. He could definitely be fighting for the win. For now, it's just not meant to be, but you never know. We're running out of laps for another safety car, and if there is one, oh, that's going to spice things up. But at the moment, top 5, no penalties. Nathan drifting, battling, bit of ghosting for some reason. 2.4, the gap's going down. Logan wants to start this season off with a podium. He wants to start this season off with a win. He won 2 races last season, Mexico and Austria. He's always managed to get a podium at Saudi, I believe, so in the second race he's had a good one. He was so devastated and so annoyed with his result last season in the opening round to finish outside the points right at the bottom. It was a new game. That whole season was so much growth for him to get his best season to date. He's been bigger and better every season, and he comes into this one with a chance at fighting for a world championship. Josh Hewitt, though, at the moment, starts lap 26, 4 laps to go. It's 2.3 seconds as Logan has left Callum in the dust to fight Eggy for the final podium place. Sin Icon dropping ever more down the gap. Vortex still within DRS. Frosty has dropped Warren, and if Warren can just push enough, if the 3 behind him can battle enough, he could get some points. But here comes Optic on Seb to take back P9. It's not where Seb wanted to fight, as Callum now down the inside to maybe challenge for P10 as well. And Callum's going to try the switch here. Seb is flashing, and that's going to allow Callum to try and have a go at him. Down the inside goes the McLaren versus the Alpha Tauri. We'll be seeing that a lot this season, hopefully. Seb's going to try back round the outside, braking later, but Cal has the inside, fighting for the final points paying position. And at the moment, it goes to Cal, who really just wants this race to end, I believe. It's going to be such a disappointing race because nothing really unlucky happened to him besides getting held up a lot. His pace just seemed to drop before the pit stops, and it's just so unfortunate. But that pole position is so promising for this season, and we are very excited to see what he can do. 1.6 seconds then. It is Josh Hewitt versus Logan Kelly for the win of the opening Grand Prix in Tier 2 Season 8. The hype is real, and at the moment, Logan on the mediums versus Josh on the softs. 3 drivers, 3 different compounds in the top 3, and it won't even matter if Eggy overtakes Callum, it'll still be the same. This is EXFL Tier 2, and it's going to come to a dramatic finish, I believe. This is what you want to see. Logan's bringing the gap down, and it's going to go right to the wire. Here comes Eggy then to make it P3 on his debut at the moment, but Cal is going to try what he can to come back down the inside, but with the ERS difference, Eggy seems like he'll have this. Callum, who's driven a faultless race as Seb is in the pit lane speeding, and unfortunately on his birthday he retires. It's unfortunate, but that does pretty much cement Callum into the points. It's unfortunate to see one of the Alpha Tauris retire, but let's hope next week Seb can give it another go. And yeah, I think that's Eggy. Eggy on his debut then. Sven into P3. What a debut for him. And yeah, Callum, like I was saying, has done nothing wrong all race really. And he was pretty much third the entire time. Sometimes second, sometimes first. But it seems like it's going to be fourth at the moment unless one of them gets a penalty. 1.4 seconds then. The gap is going down. 28% versus 12%. I'm sure Logan feels the nerves coming, but he's got the confidence, he's got the speed, he's a racer, he'll go for it. And we've just got under 2.5 laps for Logan to get under the DRS. At the moment, he'll have 1 or 2 chances. Bit of a slide there in the second last corner. And do you think he can catch him, Nick?
I don't know. He's got a lot of ERS in hand, but he's using it now. So by the time he catches up, they're going to be equal. It's going to be all down to the wire, all on the tyres. Obviously, Josh's tyres are going to be hitting the cliff now. But can Logan? He's lost a tenth of a second. He has to gain vitally each lap, so he's got to push.
10 laps on the hards for Eggy, 10 laps on the mediums for Logan, 10 laps on the softs for Josh. They're all pretty much closing in on one another as the gap is 1.4 seconds. So this is a crucial lap for Logan. He needs to get it under 1 second to have the DRS to gain that second on the straight, and then maybe he'll just have a chance into 4, and then maybe his last chance will come on the exit of turn 10, and then maybe he'll have a chance into the final straight before the final corner. But at the moment, it's just not working. I think for the McLaren.
Just looking at the way Logan's driving, he obviously wants to win, but he's looking very conservative. I think in the back of his mind, potentially he's settling for a second. Maybe he doesn't want to throw it away into a wall. But yeah, he's just not pushing enough. But in saying that, although the gap's gone from 1.5 at the
Ooh, it's
start of the lap, it is down to 1.1.
He needs to gain a few more tenths in the final couple corners. Remember his great final sector in his qualifying lap. He has to do that now again. And at the moment, they're both flashing. They're both using everything. Josh Hewitt's gamble may have just paid off because we're going to start the final lap here. The final rotation of 29. It's been an excellent, brilliant opening race of the season. The longest season ever. And Josh Hewitt starts the final lap of the race. 1.1 seconds ahead of Logan. These two are going to be fighting all season, hopefully, with other people here and there. Eggy's still under pressure from Callum, who's trying to fight for the final podium place. And down the route, out the outside goes Callum, but Eggy breaks later as Callum tries the switchback. And this is
Logan
a brilliant battle for
mistake.
third. And Logan does make a tiny mistake. Eggy gets back ahead of Callum with the DRS to probably cement third. And that was a bit of a scare for him on the last lap as Cal's fighting Optic for 9th. As Optic goes deep there, so Cal gets another point, and he may get 2 more with Warren up to 6 seconds apiece. Logan, it seems like he's not close enough, and now they just have to make sure the top 4 to not get any sort of penalty. Otherwise, they are probably going to lose the podium, or in Callum's case, gain a podium. Heading into turn 10 for the final time then. It's just working out. An amazing gamble took by Josh Hewitt to go onto the softs. Get the gap, and hopefully the gap will go down just enough that you can just keep ahead of your competition. It's a great gamble that Josh Hewitt has taken. We're starting the final sector of the final lap of the opening race in Tier 2 Season 8 at the Bahrain Grand Prix. You are watching Josh Hewitt. It took him all season last season to get his first podium. He's weaving already. He knows what he's about to achieve. He's got one final corner to go. He ended Tier 2 Season 4 devastated. He starts Tier 2 Season 8 hopeful that this can go really all the way. And he's going to cross the line. You are watching Josh Hewitt win the opening Grand Prix. It's Josh Hewitt who takes the race, winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. And Logan drops down to 3rd. For some reason, Eggy 2nd, Callum 4th, Sin Icon from last comes to 5th, Frosty up to 6th head of Vortex. I have no idea what's happening here. It might be a glitch with the spectators, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's confusing because Logan definitely didn't get a penalty. But anyway, we know who the winner is. Josh Hewitt has just won the Bahrain Grand Prix. Do you know what's happening here, Nick? I don't. What's...
No, not to be honest, but yeah.
I mean, the rest seems normal. Anyway, what a race. Bosh. Yeah, that's a good word to describe that. Bosh. Right, there you quote-unquote have it. Oh, and look at that, fastest lap as well, because he put the softs on. Oh, what a gamble from your new championship leader. Wow. Yeah, we're going to have to sort whatever happened there. Unless Logan genuinely made a mistake on the last corner. I really don't know. Right, now let's check the race director. Fingers crossed. Alright, all good. Wow, 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 wow. Um, so Eggy, Logan, Josh. Yeah, we can definitely interview Logan and Eggy. Don't know about Josh. I mean, we'll try. Right, Logan's joining. Right, we have. I don't even know if it's second or third as Eggy joins. Was there a glitch? Okay, there was a glitch. Okay. Are you guys still in the lobby? Actually, no, never mind, never mind. No. Yeah, yeah. Let me just join it back and let me invite Josh. And then we'll try and conduct the interviews. I think I'm gonna have to go in game chat with Josh. But I'll talk to you two first. Right. Sven, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm there.
Have you included your audio?
Sure.
Okay, Logan, have you done that?
Hello guys, can you
Oh.
hear me for the first time in months?
Don't know if Nick can check that.
Oh,
Someone-
Yeah, I can. Yeah. It's
All
on.
right, cool. Right, we will start with I think third place then. Sven, what a debut for you, mate! Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Uh,
was kind of
Brilliant.
expecting to be better in quali, but I kind of screwed up on that. But then in the race, I thought going into it that it will be kind of a challenge to keep consistent, because I have literally no experience in league racing. But somehow on the restart, I gained some positions, and yeah, here I am.
yeah, it was you qualified sixth, seventh,
I-
or
Yeah, something like that. Maybe even 8th.
something like that. You had a good pace to stick with that. I think at one point 9-car train.
Mhm.
You stayed out for quite a while. There was a point where you disconnected,
Yeah,
which was unfortunate.
That
But
threw me out.
but,
I lost
um,
like 6 seconds, and then I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just hope for a
But s-
safety car, and it worked.
yeah, luckily there was, and yeah, you were one of the 4 to gain from that. You got to thank drifting for that. And then yeah, you had a great battle with Callum for third. It was great to see. It looked like the battle was done, but on the last lap he came back with a little attack. But then yeah, you just about managed to stay ahead of him. And a podium on debut is brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
Nick, do you have any questions for Sven?
no questions, but yeah, very well done. I saw the vision a couple weeks ago. I was like, I can see the vision, and you performed brilliantly today and getting your podium in your debut race. Very well done.
Cheers.
Alright, and we'll see you hopefully next week. And if this continues, you'll definitely get a full-time seat, hopefully.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, moving on to there's so many drivers that could be driver of the day, but he's definitely one that stands out. Logan started P2, finished P2. On paper, that looks normal, but that was anything but. Just take us through that race.
One word to describe it is pain. I mean, I spun on my own. I mean, I got sent wide,
Oh, really?
and then I got sent wide, and then I kind of was in the wrong gear, and then got down. End of the day, my fault for that one. Then that sim round at turn 10. So that first lap was a bit interesting, but otherwise, I said to Drifton while I was in the party, this is going to be a race of mentality for me now. You just got to stay in it, hope for a safety car, and just hope for things to go your way. I had
he was the
everything
one who
go my
caused
way
it.
today, just not that first lap and not the last 2 laps.
What was Drifting's reaction when he caused the safety car?
He just binned it. He was trying medium traction control for the first time today. First wheel
Alright.
race as well, so he's done exactly what I did last season. Just down the hill. And yeah.
Anyway, we gotta look at the positives. It was so close in qualifying, and that lap from Cow was something special.
Yeah.
But the McLaren front row lockout was great to see. And yeah, you came up, you were last at one point, but still to come back to finish second is a great achievement. It's your best start to a season. It's unfortunately not the win you were gaining on Josh, and then at the end it just didn't quite happen, as the gamble for him just worked out. But it's still second, and you pulled off some good moves and a good strategy. That safety car did help you, and Josh and Callum and Eggy pretty much become the top four of that race. And yeah, just very well done. And what a turnaround! This time 6 months ago, you finished what, 13th, 14th in the opening round. So it's quite the improvement. And anyway, we head to Saudi. It's one of your, I think, statistically best tracks.
Yeah.
So maybe you can get that win.
I hope so. I mean, next week if Marine races, then I mean, God knows where I'll place.
Yeah, there's quite a few
Probably won't be a win.
big guys
He's
who haven't raced
so-
yet. Josh Crabtree, Marine. Yeah, we'll have to see
Yeah.
what happens with that. Anyway, thank you. And we're going to try and interview Josh somehow.
actually looking
Is there a
forward
way?
to,
Ah, there we go. Switch to game chat.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Logan. I'm going to switch to game chat, Nick, if that's all right. Do you have any questions for Logan?
No questions from me, but like Jane said, you have to look at the positives, and you're showing pace. That's all that matters. Obviously, an unfortunate race today, but it's still P2 at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Well, it better be. We have to sort out that result for some reason. It glitched. Anyway, switching to game chat now. I hope it still picks up. It should still pick up my audio, right, Nick?
It'll pick up yours. I don't know about Josh though.
Okay, that's fine. You there, Josh? Hello? You there, mate? Jesus Christ. That's loud. Alright, I don't... Yeah, I can hear you. Very loudly. Okay. Okay, cheers. I don't think my stream's going to be able to pick up your audio, but I just need to talk to you on this. What a race, mate! Wow. Oh my God, I think you're talking that loud. My mic may be able to pick up your audio. Jesus Christ. Yeah, step away, step a bit back, or just put it away a bit. Okay, right. Your last win was Tier 2 Season 4 USA. Nearly 2 years later, you have got your 5th win. You are back. Yes, indeed. You didn't put a foot wrong. You started 4th. You had a great start to challenge for the lead for the first 10 laps. I'm sure you really enjoyed that battle with Cal. Yes, indeed. And then you took that big gamble to put the softs on and then try and get the gap. And then when they wore away, you hopefully had enough of a gap to just stay ahead. And it just worked out. And it's brilliant to see. And yeah, it's the longest season ever. But you've started off round 1 in the perfect style with the fastest lap as well because of that gamble. And yeah, just hats off to you, mate. We all loved it. We all wanted it. And it's happened. So yeah, let's hope you take it all the way. Mm. All right then, we'll see what happens in Saudi Arabia then. But yeah, you got your first. It took you all season to get a podium in the last race, and then first race in, boom, win, podium out the way. So let's see. Yep. There's still quite a few people who didn't race today that could be up there, like Josh Crabtree and Marine. So you still got your competition worked out for you. It was unfortunate for Seb as well, your teammate, to retire from the race, especially on his birthday. But I'm sure he'll bounce back. Indeed. Right, I will switch back to party chat. It's been a pleasure talking to you, mate. Well done. Uh, and you and you will be the new championship leader for the next 7 days, maybe even more. All right, in a bit, mate. Well done. Right, I'm back. I'm deaf. You there, Nick? Oh my God, Josh was so. It wasn't his fault, but he is not him, but like it's loud in a party chat, in game chat. Jesus Christ, my eardrums are bleeding probably. Right, that has been the first round of 23 in EXFL Tier 2 Season 8 in 2024. What an opening Grand Prix. When we had 15, I was like, could have been better. But there's a pattern here. Even when we have like 12, 13, the races are just amazing to watch. And Tier 2 is really making a new name for itself in terms of the battling quality. It's great to see. And it's great to see moments like what we've seen today. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more in store in the season to come. I've been F1 Union. Nick, final words?
Um, well, yeah. I mean, what a first race of the season, and what a start to 2024.
Indeed. 4th of Jan is the first race. 6th of June, I think, is the last. So, yeah. Done Bahrain, and then 22 more until we see the checker flag wave on Abu Dhabi to crown a new drivers' champion and potentially a double constructors or even a new constructors. We will have to wait and find out. But that's chapter 1 done. 22 more to go.